My name is Marina Lindedenker. I'm 55 years old. I'm working as a preschool teacher with the National Unity Department, and I'm living in Portuguese settlement Melaka. I'm of a Portuguese descendant. Portuguese settlement Melaka is a unique place. It's a place where you can find all the Portuguese that is living here from the descendants of the Portuguese from 1511. Now, there's a piece of land here which was asked by two priests, to the Melaka government, where they were granted the piece of land, about 27 acres, and the priest got all the Portuguese that was living around Melaka town to come and live in this Portuguese village. The Portuguese love to live by the sea, and Portuguese settlement is situated by the sea, where the Portuguese people were former fishermen. Now we still have fishermen, but now it's down to about only 94, 95, less than 100 fishermen who are living in the Portuguese settlement. But the whole settlement, we have about 118 houses on ground, and we have about 1,000 Portuguese living here. And by the nearby area around the Portuguese settlement, we have also the Portuguese who are staying in the flats and apartments, because in the settlement itself we do not have any more land. In the houses, actually in the settlement, we have about 4 to 5 families living in one house. So around the Ujung Pasir Portuguese settlement here, we have about maybe about 1,006 to 1,008 Portuguese people live. And around Melaka town, we have about 3,000. We have a statue which is Christ the Redeemer, built by the local group called the Construction Workers, headed by Mr. Clarence Clarence Felix, and also Cyril de Mello, and his boys. They built the statue on their own. We had the donation, they collected the donation from the residents to build the statue, and it was in their own initiative to do it. And now everybody is visiting Portuguese settlement and make it as an icon. Okay? And we have a bell which is situated at beside the statue, and it's built. We also have another statue, the Saint Peter statue there, which is the patron saint of the fishermen. And this bell will be rung during mass, during funerals and meeting. For the special event, that is the funeral, the bell will be rung 7 times to let the people know that there's a funeral, somebody passed away. It will be rung 7 times, but once and then pause, another time pause, the third pause, and for 7 times. So the people will be informed through that ring that there is somebody that passed away in the settlement. And it also will be rung when the body is leaving the settlement, which is rung also 1 pause 1, but continuous until the body leaves the settlement. And for mass, it's a fast ring. Say about 2 minutes will be ringing to inform that mass is going to start in half an hour's time or 1 hour's time. And if we are having a meeting for the residents, also they will ring the bell half an hour earlier to remind the residents that there is a meeting going on. And another one is that we have a statue of Our Lady, which is more than 100 years old. It is now traveling the settlement, the residents, house by house. Every house will receive her and have her for 3 days. A family rosary, or a group of residents will join them to have family rosary at home. And after 3 days, it will be shifted to the neighbors. And this is continuous going in the settlement for many, many years. And now we have a chapel named after Our Lady, which is Our Lady of Immaculate Conception, and the chapel is named Immaculate Conception Chapel in the settlement. For the lanes and roads of the Portuguese settlement, we have the names of the Portuguese who came to Malacca. For example, Crichton, Iridia, de Aranjo, de Albuquerque, Iridia, and also Sequeira. These are all named by the Portuguese explorer or the soldiers that came to Malaysia. Our roads are all named after the Portuguese. For the leaders of the settlement, we have a regidor. The term name regidor actually is sidang. But for the settlement, for the Portuguese community, we call him the regidor. Okay, now the regidor is a young man. He is about 40. His name is David de Costa. He was just elected in 2020, June 2020. So he is now currently holding the regidor title, and I am the pengerusi JPKK. It's also what you call NGO, but we deal more with the government and then anything that to relate with information giving to the settlement community, they will call me. And I am also the pengerusi for Persatuan Penduduk Perkampungan Portugis. That means the head of the Portuguese settlement. So we do our best to help the people, to communicate with the government. And what we have here now is where we can generate our income is from donations and also from our car park, where this collection go back to the community, especially during Christmas season. Okay, we will have Christmas party for the children below 12, and also for the seniors 60 and above. We will give them back by having a high tea for them and giving them all tokens. That's how we generate our incomes. We do when we have Festa de San Pedro, where we will have the festive season. We try to generate income from there, and then whatever functions that we can organize to generate income, so we will do it, and then we will give back to the community during this Christmas season. And a very unique association that is in the community is the Funeral Association. This Funeral Association, I think, is now more than 60 years. And then the community here, they will join this association and pay a very minimal fee of 5 ringgit per month, and just for one family, one person. Children above 21, they can also join in. For the husband and the spouse, or the wife and the husband, only one person join in, and it's only 5 ringgit that they pay for their fees. And what they get back is when there is a death, the member who is the husband first, he will receive about 1,500. Okay, and also the spouse will be getting about 1,300, which the spouse does not pay for any fees. Only the husband or the member, one person only pay for it. So that is how this association is very unique. Like, it's already more than 60-70 years, and it's still going on, where we help a little bit during a dead season and all that for them. In the Portuguese settlement, we have a school. It was Sacred Heart School. Then it became the Canossian Convent. Formerly, the school were for the Portuguese children of the Portuguese settlement, where the boys and girls used to study in this convent in the early days. And for a Portuguese, we still have our language, the traditional language, the Portuguese language. We also say Papia Português Malacca or Papia Português. It's a language that was brought down generations, and we still speak the language in the settlement. Even the young generation, as young as 3 years old, 4 years old, they still learn this language from their grandparents. And in the house of the Portuguese settlement family, the families in the house, there are some families that use the Portuguese language as their first language in the house. They will speak the Portuguese language throughout the day. It's a first language in the house. For the rest and the younger ones, they speak Portuguese, they understand, and because of school, they speak English, and also they are also fluent in Bahasa, and some of them also have the ability and they can speak Chinese and also Tamil. They learn by joining up with friends and all that. So the Portuguese people, some of them, they can speak 4 languages, 5 languages, just the local language. Especially for our language, we have not lost the language like most people are saying that we have lost the language. No. Our younger generation, as young as 3 years old, still speak the Portuguese language. This is the Portuguese language, Papia Português Malacca or Papia Português. It is not Cristão. Cristão is a word saying Christian or Catholic. So the language of the Portuguese settlement is Portuguese, Papia Português Malacca especially. For the Portuguese language, there are some words which is very similar to the Bahasa Melayu. For example, we have the word mesa, which is a table, and for in Bahasa you will say meja. We have a cadeira, which is the chair, janela, which is called jendela in Bahasa, and then we have sapato. For the Bahasa, we have sepatu. Garfo for fork, kulay for the spoon. We have about, I think, 1,000 words that is similar to the Bahasa Melayu.